Hi there. So today we are starting a new unit called Explain Yourself. This is going to be a unit on argument and proof. And the main idea in this unit is that mathematicians begin with a small set of basic assumptions from which we can make deductions to learn about our world. Focusing on this idea, you might find yourself wondering, what is it that we assume? Why do we need to assume anything? And how do we go about making deductions? Over the course of this unit, we're going to be digging into those questions in a variety of ways, culminating in mathematical proof. But today, first day of the unit, we are focusing on conditional statements. What is a conditional statement? Any statement that can be written as if something, then something is a conditional statement. If it is raining, then there is water falling from the sky, would be one example. Another example, if you give a cat a cupcake, then he wants sprinkles to go with it. And another example, if it is Monday, then it is October. Taking a look at these statements, you might notice some of them you definitely agree with. Some of them you definitely don't agree with. Some of them you might want to argue about depending on what children's books you read as a kid. For today, it does not have to be a true statement. If we're talking about conditional statements, we are not making any claims at all about whether the statement is true or false. The only thing that matters when we're talking about conditional statements is that it can be written as if something, then something else. So all three of these are good examples of conditional statements. When we're looking at conditional statements, we want to understand the different parts of those statements. So the first part is the hypothesis. That is the part that goes with if. Very important. The hypothesis does not include the word if. It's the part that comes after the if. If is not part of the hypothesis. Thinking back to our main idea from the unit about mathematicians beginning with a small set of basic assumptions, the hypothesis is the part being assumed. And that's because the hypothesis needs to be true in order for the conditional statement to even be relevant in a conversation. We will not necessarily have true hypotheses all throughout the unit, but if you are going to argue about the truth value of a conditional statement, you need to be able to make an assumption about the hypothesis being true. That's going to become relevant over the next couple of days. Looking back at our examples from a couple slides ago, if it is raining, then there is water falling from the sky. The part that goes with the if here is it is raining. So the hypothesis in this example is it is raining. If you give a cat a cupcake, then he wants sprinkles to go with it. The hypothesis here, the piece that follows the if, is you give a cat a cupcake. And finally, if it is Monday, then it is October. The hypothesis in this statement is it is Monday. Once again, notice I did not highlight the word if in any of these examples. The hypothesis is the part that comes after the if. The next part of the conditional statement, the conclusion, is the part that goes with the then. Similarly to the hypothesis, it does not include the word then. It's just the part that comes after. Thinking back to our main idea, mathematicians begin with a small set of assumptions from which we can make deductions. The conclusion is the part being deduced. So the conditional statement is claiming that whenever the hypothesis is true, the conclusion must also be true. This is part of what we're talking about when we talk about making deductions. Once again, today it doesn't actually matter whether our conditional statements are true or whether their parts are true. Today, the focus is just on identifying the different parts and understanding what conditional statements look like. Looking back at our examples. If it is raining, then there is water falling from the sky. The conclusion here is there is water falling from the sky. If you give a cat a cupcake, then he wants sprinkles to go with it. The conclusion is he wants sprinkles to go with it. And finally, if it is Monday, then it is October. The conclusion is it is October. What if it looks different? I said that a conditional statement is any statement that can be written as an if-then. So if it can be written as if something, then something, it counts. Does not matter if it's originally written that way. As long as you are able to rewrite it that way, it still counts as a conditional statement. So for example, if I tell you bicycles have 2 wheels, you can rewrite that to say if an object is a bicycle, then it has 2 wheels. Same exact information, needed to add a couple of words here and there to make it make sense, but is the same information as that original sentence we started with, which means that original sentence is an if-then statement, is a conditional statement, and we can identify the hypothesis, an object is a bicycle, and the conclusion, it has 2 wheels. Another example, when in doubt, ask for help. Again, this is not currently written as if-then, but we can rewrite it as if-then by saying if you are in doubt, then you should ask for help. Notice again here, we needed to restructure it a little bit. We needed to add in a couple of words to make it make grammatical sense, but it is the exact same information as the sentence we started with. So we have taken the sentence we've started with. We did not add any new information. We did not remove any information. We just added a couple of words to make it fit grammatically as an if-then sentence. And now we can identify the hypothesis and conclusion. Hypothesis is you are in doubt. Conclusion, you should ask for help. So summary of key ideas here, just to recap what we've gone over in this video. A conditional statement is any statement that can be written as if something, then something. Some conditional statements may not be in this form when you first encounter them. If this happens, then you should start by rewriting the sentence to if-then form. The hypothesis of a conditional statement is the part that goes with if. Never include the word if as part of the hypothesis. If you need to rewrite it to if-then form, then you should find the hypothesis after rewriting. The conclusion of a conditional statement is the part that goes with then. Never include the word then as part of the conclusion. If you need to rewrite to if-then form, then you should find the conclusion after rewriting. And once again, the true-false value of the statement does not matter right now. Right now, our only focus is understanding the structure of these sentences so that later on, over the next few days, we can start discussing what makes a conditional statement true and what makes it false. For today, all you care about is understanding what a conditional statement is, how to identify the hypothesis, how to identify the conclusion. And if you run out of time in this class and you're looking for something fun to do, how many conditional statements can you find in this presentation?